Hi, I'm Mana Moini, and you're listening to the HUMANATY Podcast. Hey guys, thank you for being here. I'm your host, Mana Moini. Today's topic is a really important one in today's society. We are going to be talking about self-love. Self-love is valuing ourselves, having compassion for ourselves, and making sure we're taking the time for self-care. Joining me for the conversation today is Suzanne St. James. She's been in the beauty industry for 35 years, and she's the founder and co-owner of the Metropolitan Skin Clinic here in Edina, Minnesota. We're going to be talking about Suzanne's journey, beauty and societal pressures, and the power of self-love. Let's get started. Suzanne, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
It is so wonderful to have you here. I know you are someone that deals with beauty day in and day out. So I wanted to start with a really important question. What does beauty mean to you?
A lot of different things. I think beauty is what's in your soul, what you give back to community, having empathy, and just loving yourself and accepting yourself and giving yourself grace. I really think that's the definition of what I feel beauty is.
It's almost like the greatest love is self-love.
It is.
What happened in your life, or at what point did you know you wanted to get into the beauty industry?
I grew up in this business. My mother had the first makeover salon, and I think I was folding towels from the time I could walk. And so it's just kind of in my blood. And I just wanted to kind of take it further, more than just the hair industry. Then I got into more of the medical skincare and the injectables and referring people for safe procedures for plastic surgery. And it's just been a nice journey. And I always want to do better and learn more. And it's an exciting industry. And I just love people in general. I just love people.
At what point were you like, I'm going to start a clinic?
Well, I think that through my years in the career industry, I was seeing a lot of patients that weren't being taken care of, meaning like they were going to clinics that weren't doing correct health histories, and patients getting laser services that were getting burnt, and it was just kind of a disaster, and they had nobody to reach out to after hours. I give all my patients my personal cell phone number. I just felt like people were not being taken care of in a safe manner. And then also kind of looking more natural. And so I wanted to open a clinic where I could get a bunch of people together as a team, and that's what we are at the Metropolitan. We're like a big family. There's over 20 of us, and we work together and collaborate as a team, and we treat each patient as a individual. So everybody is customized. A lot of the older clinics, when they were first coming out, everything was like cookie cutter for everybody. And everything in this industry needs to be customized to the person and also their personal journey and what's important to them as well. So it's not just me looking at this person telling them this is what you should do. I'm always here to guide you, but I really listen to what is that person needing and what's important to them.
Do you feel like people come in with an idea of what they think they need?
Absolutely.
And is it tough to hear otherwise?
Sometimes, but I just think there's still a huge kind of miscommunication in this industry about certain lasers or even like Botox or filler. They'll come in thinking that they need Botox and they want to have a lift, and that's something totally different. It's filler. So a lot of my job and what we do at our clinic is just educating that patient. And then you can kind of see that light bulb turn on. As that patient goes, oh, now I get it. Now I know how this works.
That kind of leads me to ask you, what's your favorite part about what you do?
Ooh, that is a hard question. I just have a passion for the whole thing, the whole process. I love my staff. We're like a big family. I love meeting new people. I love hearing people's stories. and then creating a treatment plan for them that's going to fit in their lifestyle and address their outcomes and their concerns. And I love formulating my own skincare line was a big journey for me as well.
That's wonderful. I know you and I talked a lot about you're almost a therapist in a sense. People come in and you hear all kinds of stories and you witness a lot of things. Mm-hmm. What is one or two stories that have really stayed with you of patients, clients that have come in that you think about when you think about just loving ourselves in this process?
There's a few examples I can think of off the top of my head in these many years. I guess in general, especially if we have a patient come in that has dealt with acne their whole entire life, and through grade school or junior high, high school, they felt so insecure. And even when they come into the consultation, their body language, and they kind of look down because they're embarrassed about their skin. And then being able to talk to that patient and kind of know their journey and their kind of mental scars with having acne, and then how rewarding it is when you work with a patient and you can get their skin beautifully clear. And literally, I've had patients start to cry because it is a very long-term emotional journey that they've gone through.
We do tend to, I think society says, your self-love comes from within, and it does. Mm-hmm. But how you feel and beauty being a part of that drives your self-love. So Absolutely. The story you just told of, someone dealing with acne their whole life, that's understandable. It was impacting their self-love.
Yes.
Do you ever find yourself having to give advice or step in when you see kind of a situation where someone's either being too hard on themselves, or I don't know, somebody's parent or relative comes in and wants to impact the situation? Is there ever a story like that?
All the time. What I tell is I talk people off the ledge. I always tell my patients and just everybody in my life, we have to have a sense of humor about this aging, or we'd all be in the corner crying together. And we look way younger than our parents and grandparents did at our ages. With social media, that can be a real struggle because people are filtering everything. I believe as a parent, we are supposed to build our children up. And I see a lot of, I have a specific story, but this has happened more than once. A parent brought in her daughter when she turned 18 and wanted the daughter to have Botox. And I won't do things just to do things. I was trying to figure out why this young girl at 18 had a little lower self-esteem of herself. And in the room, her mother came in with us as we were talking about the Botox. And I was just very open and honest and said, "You look beautiful, you're 18. I just don't feel that you need it at this time." And the mother interjected immediately and said, "No, she needs this for prevention." And I just kindly said she actually doesn't need it per prevention at 18 years old. There's nothing to prevent yet. And so the mom understood that, and I said, she doesn't need Botox now for a few years. We can just kind of see as she's getting into her 20s and mid-20s and have an appropriate time to start that. And then the mother looked at her daughter and said, "Well, if you're not going to do Botox, I've never liked your lips. Let's do lip filler."
Wow.
And so it was just a really eye-opening experience of what people can say to us in our lives, whether they're our parents or loved ones or friends, that they may not trying to intentionally hurt you, but it was very hurtful. And so I just saw her little self-esteem go down.
Do you find in your client base, are there a lot of parents that bring their kids in?
Yes, but not all bad. There's a lot of parents that want to help their kids. So my clinic is not just about injectables, but we're laser and acne. So we have a lot of patients that bring in their kids in their adolescence because they're dealing with skin issues and acne, and they're getting teased at school. And so the parent is trying to be proactive to help their child. And that is just one of the most wonderful things I see.
Of course. And do you find that with social media, has there been a rise in, I know acne and skin issues have always been an issue, but it's almost like you have a spotlight on it now with social media. If you're in high school and everyone's posting pictures and everyone's talking about their lives, and you don't want to put that stuff on social media if you
Correct.
aren't happy with it.
I think really what we're dealing with, since there's such a major presence of social media, and oh my gosh, if you're not on social media and you're filtering everything, the filters are the huge thing. We're dealing more and more with body dysmorphia. And so I'm constantly encouraging my patient to see what is good about them, and then also what is bothering them and what we can refine and kind of improve for them. But the body dysmorphia is real. I have patients come in of all ages, all genders, with a picture on their phone, a picture of themselves. They've filtered everything. They've even changed the shape of their nose, their face, and everything. And they show me this picture and they say, I want to look like this. And I always just say, this is reality, and you're beautiful. This is not reality. Your face isn't even the same shape anymore. It's really gotten to the point that I have patients come in, and young patients come in and they're down for filler. And I'll get them in the room and I'll say, okay, I'm done the assessment and I'm looking at you and I'm not really seeing that you need filler. What were you thinking today that you need filler? And this happened recently. I had a patient and she was young, looked at me and said, I need filler right here. And I looked and I said, sweetie, that's a pore. And she goes, well, I want it filled. And I said, we don't fill pores. We need pores in our skin. And then she showed me the picture on her phone that was completely filtered. She looked like a little marble mannequin. And so a lot of education goes into working with the patient. And knowing that at least I and the clinic are ethical enough to say, no, you don't need this.
Do you think that all of these ways of trying to improve our beauty or our outward appearance is being driven in a way by trying to find happiness?
Yes. Now, part of that is also, we know when we look better, we feel better and our confidence goes up. But there's a fine line between going over the edge and just doing things to kind of maintain and prevent. That's why you see a lot of the pictures on social media and also even in celebrities. They have these huge overblown looks and faces and cheeks and it's not realistic. It doesn't look pretty. It almost looks cartoonish. And with all the body dysmorphia, lips are beautiful. We do beautiful lip filler. It never fails when they come in for their follow-up. They go, I want more. And I go, no, you don't. Everything needs to be a balance. We don't want to have somebody look at you and the first thing you notice is lips. Okay.
Right.
And as we have birthdays, is what I call it, we have to give ourselves some grace. We are going to have a few lines on our face. Everything is not going to be tight and taut like when we were 20 years old. I'm 56 years old. Again, we have to have a sense of humor about this aging. There is technology and products and treatments that we can kind of turn back the time a little bit, but it's not just about looking good. I also think it's about the health of the skin, and try to focus on that patient not falling into keeping up with the Joneses, and the new thing is big lips and big cheeks and all that type of stuff. It's a balance of really trying to work with that patient and making sure they have realistic expectations. So yeah, at times I feel like a therapist in a way.
So what would you tell somebody, or what would be your advice when talking about self-love? You know, you can only do so much to the outside and to your lips and with the fillers. What do you say to people when it comes to self-love? What's your advice?
Give yourself some grace. Maybe quit listening to so many outside influences, and that can even be your friends. Your friends might mean well, but sometimes they say things that can put you down a bit. And a lot of times you have to realize the people that are saying that, that's also their insecurities.
I am noticing in our society that it's almost become, I don't want to say acceptable, but more common, of commenting on other people's looks.
Yes.
And I'm almost wondering, what is driving that? Because I don't remember it always being okay to do that. And now it's, hey, you know, got some on your forehead or whatever it might be. There's comments, a lot more than I remember. What do you think is driving that?
I agree. There's a lot more comments like that. I'm not sure what is driving that. We've gotten to be so critical of one another, very judgy of a person's looks, and they're judging the person before they even meet them or hear their soul and their personality. I guess it's a really hard question to answer because it could just be a combination of everything. And a lot of times if you have somebody in your life that's just constantly kind of picking you apart and not lifting you up, they may not be the person to have in your life anymore. And it's okay to outgrow friends. I think I've learned that with age, though. It's a Midwestern thing. We all hang on to our, friends since we've been this high. And I think it's very much a Midwestern thing that we feel bad if all of a sudden we're thinking, this person is not a good fit for me and where I'm going and my beliefs and my journey of uplifting other people in general.
Right. So one of the things, I think the myths of beauty and the industry is that it's only, middle-aged women doing it. Do you find your client base is all backgrounds, genders, ethnicities?
It's all over the board. Everybody is treated equal when they walk in the door. That's one of the comments that we get all the time, is patients will say, as soon as I walked in, I felt at home and I felt comfortable. They're greeted. It is very nerve-wracking to go into a place for the first time and you feel like, do I need Botox? Do I need filler? I don't know what I need. And so you're trying to put yourself in the care of a professional and hoping that you can trust them. And yeah, I just think we've got to give ourselves more grace and not be so hard on ourselves.
And do you think that social media is driving this appeal to the masses to want to come in and get, something done?
Yes, I really do, because again, I'll go back to the younger clientele, patient base, 18 to 25. They're really super, super hard on themselves. And even, with birthdays, I have a patient, they'll turn 30. They'll come in, they're like, or 40 or 45. As a human being turns 40, the aging cascade goes into overdrive. But this is just reality. And again, just taking care of yourself, not only on the outside, but the inside. with positive thoughts, self-love, take time for yourself, eat healthy, live a healthy lifestyle. All of that goes hand in hand. And I kind of, as an observation of people in general, the patients that I deal with that seem to really have more of that balance, they're not so hyper-focused on one little wrinkle or one little area that's bothering them. I had a patient come in today. She's just lovely. And she has a ton of sun damage. She hasn't done anything for a long time, early 60s. And it was refreshing because she just said, Suzanne, I just want my skin to glow like yours. I don't care if every wrinkle is gone. I don't care if I've got some sagging here and there. I don't want to have to put makeup on and cover up all this stuff anymore. And I love working with patients like that because she is a strong businesswoman herself that I'm working with. And it was lovely to hear that she had realistic expectations, because most of the time a patient comes in with very unrealistic expectations. And a lot of times they forget where they started, Mana. So I'll have a patient for years and they'll come in like it's a 50th birthday. I have an example. A patient came in and she was on my schedule and I thought, she was just in recently for Botox and a little touch-up on filler. And she's done laser and everything with us. And I'm thinking, I wonder what she's needing today. Well, she comes into my room. I close the door. She sits down and she starts to cry. She's turning 50 years old.
No. Which
is a big thing for human beings in general. The 50 mark is kind of like this, scary thing that now we're old. And I just sat down with her and I just said, you are beautiful. You don't need anything right now. You maintain everything. You have healthy skin. And she has been with me for probably a little over 10 years. And I showed her pictures from when she first came to me a little over 10 years ago to now, today. And she was shocked because she forgot. And literally, she looked about 10 years younger right now today than walking into our clinic a little over 10 years ago. But she looked natural. My whole goal is with my patients is for nobody to know that you and I meet. I just want friends, family, anybody that you meet to say, wow, you look really good. But they're not going to pinpoint and say, you had your lips done, you had this done. It should be a complete picture. And it's not normal for your face to be frozen in time. Okay? Our face has to move. Everything is movable. We are human beings. We are not mannequins.
Have you ever had to turn somebody away?
I do that all the time. The gal that was turning 50 that I showed her those pictures, and I said, see, you don't need anything right now. Everything is good. She looked at me and she said, Suzanne, that's why I come to you, because you will tell me no. And I wish more injectors would do that. The gal that I was speaking about that came in today with a lot of sun damage, she thought she wanted to start with Botox fillers, more cosmetic injectables. And literally I talked about the canvas of her skin. I said, well, let's listen to your goals. You want to have a simplified routine in the morning. You don't want to be putting on all this makeup to cover everything up. I said, let's work on the canvas first, building that healthy foundation of tissue. And then after that, it should be a journey, and then our treatment plan can kind of morph, and sometimes it changes as we're in the middle of this journey together. So I think it's important to guide the patient and just people in general in your life.
And it kind of sounds like from the stories you're telling, so when they come in, there's almost like after some conversation, you kind of get to the root of what's driving whatever it is that they're asking for.
Yes. I think our clinic too, and I myself, try to provide a safe space for people of all walks of life to come in and let's talk about their concerns, because that can, make a person feel really uncomfortable, especially when you're meeting me for the first time.
Does anything surprise you anymore?
Oh my gosh, no. No, not at all.
What's the craziest story you have?
Well, a lot of them in over 35 years. But, if we're kind of looking at self-love and, patients out there doing treatments that are overdone, my clinic is known a lot, and me personally, as fixing bad work. People will come in with these over-pumped lips that they can hardly enunciate because everything is firm. And, we focus on, let's look at a picture of yourself from like 10 years ago. Okay, that's what you were 10 years ago, and here you are now. And let's start maybe dissolving some things and taking a different approach. So you're feeling better about yourself without putting more stuff into the face as far as like fillers, Botox.
One thing I've noticed in just, I guess, social media and with some celebrities is this transition back to the more natural look.
Right.
I think the last 10 years was kind of the more filtered look, and now some celebrities are going makeup free and the more natural look. Mm-hmm. What is your thought on that? And do you see that kind of making its way to the clinic and the conversations that you're having?
Well, I think that it's hard for me to answer that in a way, because that's always been my philosophy of the patient looking natural. And that's not a lot of clinics' kind of philosophy. And then when you see celebrities getting bigger and bigger lips, I mean, we have a few, like the Kardashians and things like that, they are starting to deflate things and look more natural.
Do you find that people are recognizing that and maybe wanting to pull back?
Very much so. Very much so. And I think that's why they really value our time together, because I just talk real. I always tell my patients, I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm just a straight shooter. And there's no question in the world that's stupid to me. I'm here to help you. So let's figure this out together.
And I think, to me, this whole beauty industry is one that helps people feel good. But we need to recognize we need to do some work within as well.
Absolutely. So back to self-love.
Self-love.
Yes, I think if you can master more of self-love, then you do come out more confident, and then you don't feel like you need to do as much. Again, I'm back to giving us a little grace.
It's a circle, right? If we are able to give ourselves compassion,
yes,
we can understand empathy and give other people compassion.
Yes.
And that way, as a society, just give each other more grace. I think that's what we can work toward.
That would be lovely, because I really think that's what society is missing.
Right. We're hard on ourselves, but society is also hard on us.
Yes. I mean, even me coming here today to talk, I have to give myself a pep talk that you can do this, Suzanne. You're not going to be tripping over your tongue. And, this is what it is. We're just like having a normal conversation. So again, not being so hard on ourselves. We can build up anxiety and all these insecurities, and it's our own head and mind doing this. And so you just kind of reprogram your brain and give yourself positive affirmations.
Totally. Mm-hmm. And I think you're not the only one. We all do it, right?
Yes.
I had the same feelings preparing for today. I think someone said perfectionism is a form of fear. And that's always resonated with me, because I've always said, I'm a perfectionist, in everything. How I work, how I, do a lot of things. And when you realize some of it comes from fear, you can really sit down and recalibrate and come at it from a different way. And I think even with beauty, it's like there is a level of perfectionism.
Yes.
To the industry and to what we, think about our own beauty. And so to really level set and understand that there's some fear driving that, whether it's getting old, whether it's people judging us, whatever it might be, if you can hone in on that fear, then you can practice kind of letting that go.
I agree. And nobody's perfect. Nothing is perfect. I'm a perfectionist as well. And so I always am talking to myself, I should have done this better. Give yourself some grace. Nothing is perfect. And this is just life.
I was so excited to have you on today, Suzanne, because I think to hear this concept of self-love from someone in your industry with your experience is really, really important, because a lot of times the beauty industry is selling us something that is unattainable. And so I love your approach of natural, fair, good conversation and level setting. But also on the flip side, changing so many people's lives with the skin and the health care that you guys provide. So that's really, really beautiful. One thing I've been asking on the show that I would love to hear from you is a story of kindness, whether something that's happened to you or that you've witnessed that really changed your life or made a really big impact on you.
I think the one thing that comes to mind, when I started out in this industry, I was very young and what was more into the beauty, hair, makeup, that type of stuff. And then I kind of got a little bored with that and got more into the medical end of it, with skincare treatments, lasers. And I was looking to expand just personally, so I felt more fulfilled, but I also really wanted to help people. And what I did is I went and kind of so-called interviewed plastic surgeons to see if I could partner up with somebody that would be my mentor and take me under their wing and kind of guide me and also train me. And that person has been Dr. Christopher Tolan. Him and I have been dear friends for over 35 years. He's the director of our medical clinic. He's our medical director. He took me under his wing and taught me everything. Anatomy, the injectables, lasers. He was the only one that was really open and receptive to that. Because back in the day, this industry, as far as plastic surgery and laser centers, it was very male-driven. And so to find somebody that was open to take a woman as a mentor and, let's say, water that plant and see me grow, he's done more for me in my career than anybody. And then the other thing that comes to mind is my staff. We're like a big family. And so we all work together as a team. We laugh together. We cry together. So just, there's so many things, so many good things that have happened in my career and in my life. And surrounding yourself with good people.
I love that. I think the people who believe in you from the beginning and the people on your team today are really key things to help keep us, lifted up and remind us that, sometimes we need a reminder to love ourselves. And if the right people are around us, we will get that reminder.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Your expertise and insight is just, I think, really invaluable because you see this stuff day in and day out.
Yes.
That, and you see the impact play out of social media, of societal pressures. So I really appreciate you being here. What I want to leave the listeners with is self-love is your first love. Self-love is a journey, and the first step is to give yourself permission to be kind to yourself. So remember to be kind to yourself. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this humanity community. I hope you have a wonderful day.